Damn, I feel like I'm wearing the wrong shirt for this review. The Avengers Age of Ultron may quite possibly be the biggest blockbuster to come out during this movie season, but does it live up to the hype that's been surrounding the movie since the beginning of Marvel Studios' Phase 2. Age of Ultron is the follow-up to 2012's Avengers, which was a box office hit and both well received by audiences and critics alike. In Age of Ultron, we follow our heroes as they try and spoil the plans of our antagonist called Ultron, who is an AI that went wrong. Director Joss Whedon returns to helm the big assignment of tying all our favorite comic book heroes together in one film. The cast of our famous superheroes also returns, such as Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Chris Evans as Captain America, RDJ as Iron Man, and so on, with small parts from other side characters from the other Phase 1 and 2 movies, such as War Machine and Falcon. Fresh faces are added to the mix, which includes Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, portrayed by Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. The cast does a reasonably fine job. Chemistry was great throughout the movie, which was something that I really enjoyed. We had standouts from, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. He is just the perfect actor to play that superhero. I really enjoyed that we got to explore the character of Hawkeye a little bit more, and Jeremy Renner was just really good in this film. Another standout was James Spader, who plays the menacing villain of Ultron. One thing I felt like was personally better about Age of Ultron compared to the first Avengers was character development. In the first Avengers, so much of the audience's time was spent upon getting the team together and getting them from point A to point B, so we were able to reach the final climax of the movie with one great battle scene. Though the transitions between point A and point B may have been really smooth, character development really got lost. And it may not have mattered to the average the comic book movie fanboy, because they already have seen all the standalone films to know what that character is like. Looking through the eyes of an average moviegoer who may not have seen all the movies leading up to the Avengers, that person may not have gotten a solid footing with the characters in that film. And Age of Ultron really changes that by getting an in-depth look at smaller characters, such as Hawkeye, like I already said, and it just makes the character of Hawkeye more charismatic and badass, and he's kind of got a reason, more push for him to actually survive the big battle scenes now. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were great additions, like I said, to the ensemble, apart from their awful Russian accents, especially concerning Aaron Taylor-Johnson's, who I felt was the weakest of the characters in the film. It may be because I still see him as Kick-Ass, but even my friend who didn't know he was Kick-Ass in the movie felt like he did a pretty poor job as well. The soundtrack was great as well. The Avengers theme plays at moments that it matters, and Brian Tyler and Danny Elfman sprinkle in the themes from the other standalone superhero movies magnificently, and can be seen as great Easter eggs as well. Though Age of Ultron has some great moments in there, there are some underlying problems in this movie that I found, and that's such as the pacing. I thought it was really bad. I know Joss Whedon came out and said that there was an extra half an hour to an hour that was cut from Age of Ultron due to runtime, but it doesn't make an excuse for how choppy the movie can be. It's as if one scene pulls you in one direction and then following scene pulls you in the other direction. It's basically like how it is. And I can think of Ultron. When Ultron was created, that scene was he was created out of nowhere, and it's never fully explained, or maybe I just missed it. I'll cover more in my spoilers section, because I have a big one that I felt like that whole arc could have been totally done without. Throughout this movie, I had an inner conflict with myself. due to the way I felt about this movie. At times I felt Age of Ultron was better than the original Avengers due to character arcs, and Ultron being a better villain. I know comparing movies shouldn't influence my rate, but I guess you could say I have a stronger opinion on the Avengers because I felt like it was a little bit overrated, but I'll cover it when I review it sometime. Age of Ultron had moments of glory when I was just glued to the screen, but it also had moments where I was taken out of the film and felt as if I was being shoved around by the plot of the movie. Overall, I feel the same way I did about the first movie, but where the first Avengers had flaws, Age of Ultron did it better, and vice versa. That being said, Avengers Age of Ultron gets a 7.5 out of 10. It can be seen as a low rating, especially for a movie that was hyped up like this, but this is definitely a summer blockbuster that you should see. High-octane action throughout the movie, and it's just a boat full. A lot of fun. Just don't get too into the plot, because sometimes it's just like, Anyways, guys, I'm going to get into some spoilers, so if you have not seen Avengers Age of Ultron, I wouldn't really recommend you for sticking around. But if you have, then let's get on to it. Oh, yeah, and if you haven't seen it, please like, comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel. Restarting everything. This is my first review, so yeah, help me out a bit. Vision! Well, I hope you actually left if you have not seen the Avengers. I heard about this character Vision was going to be in the film beforehand, but I felt like it was a bit of a spoiler to include it in the regular review. But man, what a character. I totally love them. Probably one of my favorite characters added to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't wait to see how he plays out in later films. Speaking of later films, I really enjoyed the tension between characters about artificial intelligence. And you really get a feel of what Civil War is going to be. And that movie I am truly looking forward to, more so than I was for Age of Ultron after Phase 3 was announced, like a couple months ago. It was another problem I experienced with Age of Ultron, and that was the fact that there are other movies coming out in the MCU that kind of seem to be shadowing Age of Ultron in the mixture of it. And it's kind of sad because this is a movie that you should be looking forward to. It's the second time you're going to see all your favorite superheroes teaming up to take down a villain, but it just seems like there are more films to come that are kind of more exciting, especially with the Avengers Infinity War, which is like, I've read a lot of versions of the Infinity Gauntlet, and I can't wait to see how they actually do it. So the ending of the movie ends with a huge battle scene of destruction, which I couldn't help but feel reminiscent of Winter Soldier, mainly because in Winter Soldier they take down a huge ship, in this one they take down a floating piece of a city, and I mean, you can see how I can compare. It's hard to explain these movies without starting to feel it sort of feels for me like, so I'm hoping going into Phase 3, Marvel Studios can change it up. It really feels as if it needs to. I think this one, oh yeah, when I was talking about plots that went nowhere, it really, when Thor went to the well, and he was gonna go back to that hallucination dream, I felt like that plot line kind of went nowhere because you never see when he went back, and it's kind of like it's touched on just a little bit, but not much, not enough for it to make perfect sense and for him to have a good reason to have went there. That may be my opinion, but I feel like it should be touched on more, and I'm pretty sure it'll be in the extended edition when Age of Ultron gets released on Blu-ray. That's all I wanted to talk about, other than the obvious product placement and where the fuck was Falcon during the fight. We see him once during the party scene and then nothing till the end. I really hope that gets touched on in Phase 3. Alright guys, like I said, this is my first review after basically restarting my channel, so if you could give me some likes, maybe some more subscriptions, that'd be really great. And yeah, See you guys next time. I think my next review will be of The Wedding Ringer, so stay tuned for that. See you guys.